Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turned out a poem 595, Like Mighty Footlights Burned the Red. Another poem about the sunset. You guys will maybe remember when we did 128. Bring me the sunset in a cup and reckon the morning's flagons up and say how many do, tell me how far the morning leaps. Tell me what time the weaver sleeps who spun the breadths of blue. Write me how many notes there be in the new robin's ecstasy among astonished boughs. How many trips the tortoise makes. How many cups the bee partakes the debauchee of dews. Also, who laid the rainbow's piers. Also, who leads the docile spheres by widths of supple blue. Whose fingers string the stalactite. Who counts the wampum of the night to see that none is due? Who built this little olden house and shut the windows down so close my spirit cannot see? Who'll let me out some gala day with implements to fly away, passing pomposity? Now, we're back to a similar kind of project here. Another sunset poem. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've worked through our set of introductory comments and the preceding 94 poems. We just finished with 594, The Battle Fought Between the Soul. One scholar has pointed out that this is Emily's attempt to suggest that God is the master of ceremonies to some splendid circus of the skies, in quote. It's a fun way to think of it. This is how she says it. I think she's responding to the Psalm 19:1 passage that she would have read in the King James Version of the Bible. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. I think she's making a response to that. Like mighty footlights burned the red at bases of the trees. The far theatricals of day exhibiting to these. 'Twas universe that did applaud, while chiefest of the crowd, enabled by his royal dress, myself distinguished God. Now, it's significant, as we said, that she uses God in 127 of her poems. And I think that the argument that she's always wrestling with is, which is the more beautiful experience of the divine, of deity? Is it in this world when one is taking in the majesties of nature, like sunsets? Or is it once one is dead and in heaven? She seems to be arguing that the thing she needs to see most of God is the very thing she's witnessing in the sunset. And to that degree, this is a tribute poem to the sunset. Another, if we call it nature riddle poem, like, she says it, like mighty footlights, right? Burned the red at bases of the tree, obviously, as the sun is going down. The far, and then she'll call it theatricals of day, again, taking us to the Psalm 19 passage. Theatricals gets used once and only once in all her poetry, and it's here. Exhibiting to these, in other words, everyone's watching. We're all paying attention to the drama, to the play, and of course the last word of the poem is God. 'Twas universe that did applaud. In other words, nature applauds itself, again, back to the Psalm 19 passage. While chiefest of the crowd, enabled by his royal dress, myself distinguished God. In other words, the royal dress, God himself. It takes us back to, of course, the display of God referenced by Milton in Paradise Lost. At 2a, what is she doing in this poem? What is she saying? I think she's saying the best way to explain deity, to experience deity, is in respect to the experience of nature itself. At 2b, of course, this is a sustained simile, no doubt. At 3a, we mentioned Psalm 19. I think you should go back, though, and also study again our work with Milton in Paradise Lost, and more particularly his representation of deity and God when God is speaking in heaven with all of the pomp and circumstance. We've given full lectures, Paradise Lost at learnstrong.net. Finally, at 3b, what is, for you, your favorite experience of nature? Is it the sunset or the sunrise or something else? Thank you.